Hey guys, D1sco here, and I've been needing to do this video for a while, but I've been incredibly busy, and I had recorded some other stuff, so I didn't get around to it. And then Orange actually almost chose me and talked about this to me, but I had mentioned that I was at some point going to do a video on it, so that didn't happen. So today I am incredibly late to this because this was posted March 20th as of recording. It's the 27th, so I'm a week late to this. I apologize. And this will be out a few days after I'm filming, just because of how our update schedule is looking right now. But today I am ready to the Dead by Daylight design preview, future plans plus update on the Trickster. I don't really know what's going to be in here other than Trickster changes. Last time they touched Trickster, they wanted to make his main event power show up more often because it basically never happened at all before. And they buffed it so much that even someone like me, who typically performs like absolute dog shit in PTB videos and just in general as killer, I was getting 4Ks literally every game against bots. That's how powerful it was. I also remember the twins PTB where they changed her. Like, I remember Orange being all like, how it was kind of acting like they were amazing stuff. I played them and I performed horribly. So I performed like so bad. Like, I think I got like a 0K, and I never really experienced the changes because I was so bad. But the Trickster buff was so unbelievably crazy that someone like me, who historically does terrible and doesn't always and very rarely plays killer because I have so many problems with playing killer, I have so many areas I need to address better. So I primarily play killer in 2v8 because I have a partner who is able to pick up on my slack, and I feel like it's just a good chance for me to keep learning and keep trying to improve and get better as killer. So I'm assuming this is going to be something, I'm not entirely sure. I'm assuming this is going to be talking about some stuff going on with him, maybe some areas where they know this needed improving. I don't know yet. Last year we tested out a new way to get our feedback with the design preview, and we shared a sneak peek at proposed changes for the Trickster with the goal of gauging how you felt about these changes very early in the design process. We wanted to quickly follow up on how we're changing up the design preview process moving forward and give a little update on the Trickster preview. With the design preview coming away from last year's design preview, a couple things stood out to us. When it comes to bigger changes like reworks, specifics matter. It's important that we compare the perspectives of both killers and survivors to help inform decision making. And that is true, but that's also such a huge burden because I feel like killer players, and I'm not trying to be mean to them or talk shit or anything, but I feel like the killer players naturally are going to want as much power as they can get, right? They're going to want as many buffs as they can. They're going to want the power to be as absolutely insane as you can get it. Whereas survivors don't want that because that's going to make it harder to play survivor. So you have to find some sort of middle ground where the killer is still playable, but like it takes more skill to use that killer correctly, so that way survivors aren't getting destroyed. And I remember a one-off video where I played Wesker and got destroyed. In that video, I was mentioning how like I was, of course, I remember on that video a comment had been posted, basically telling me that an opinion that I have was this game that I've always had with the game is wrong because I performed poorly, basically. And that's not what I was trying to say. That's not at all what was going on, because I am a terrible killer player. I will admit that. There's a reason why I call myself the worst Dead by Daylight player of all time, and that continues to be true every day, and especially with killer. And But even someone like me, I can notice some areas with improvement. I can notice I can understand why a killer might be good. I can understand a lot of things. But finding a middle ground between a killer player and a survivor player must be, I would imagine, relatively challenging, because you can't just lean more towards one type of player or the other, because that's going to um, make the other, player, make the other players feel like you're kind of screwing them over. And unfortunately, that's how I've very much felt when it comes to this game ever since the 40 perk rework, because they gave the killers some nice buffs that ultimately overpowered the game for a while. Like, it was so not, like, in my experience, for at least a number of months after that, it was just nothing but free and 4Ks. Like, it was awful. And yeah, they've definitely done taken away some of that power. They've given survivors more that they can do over time, and it doesn't feel as bad. But I still feel like killers have a distinct advantage over these survivors, and I think they, in some ways, always had. But at least in those early days, it was actually the survivors, because the killers were so like bad in a lot of ways. Though now it kind of feels like the opposite's happening. Though they're close enough to 50-50 that I feel like it's okay. It's not as bad as it could be. The second design preview thing here says, well, it's one thing to ask for feedback. The original design preview concept didn't let you know how we're using your feedback, and it's important to us that you have visibility on the ways your feedback helps drive improvements within the game. I will say, in some ways, I like how behavior at least pretends that they care. They at least pretend that they're trying. Their customer service is god fucking awful though. Um I never did actually get my issue resolved, and it's been like a year or two since then. Actually, no, it's been like a number of months. Unfortunately, I was supposed to get help with that, and that never happened. So, nothing ever came of it. With these in mind, and as we look to future design previews, including this one, we're making the following changes to our process. Each design preview will use a short survey, 5 minutes max, to collect your feedback, ensuring we have context behind your suggestions, i.e. experience level, playstyle. Within 2 weeks of each design preview, we'll share an early look at some interesting points we've drawn from your feedback, while also giving an idea of how we plan to use it. By making these changes, our goal is to bring you closer to the design process, giving you more transparency, and making it clear how your feedback is being used by the design team. Of course, sometimes the nature of feedback is that it inspires other exciting chances for improvement. So we want to make sure we're setting expectations that change, and timelines may differ from what you see here or in feedback threads. Now let's check in on where we're at with the trickster. A short update on the this is actually really short. Okay, a short update on trickster. After working for your feedback, we decided to move in a different direction from what we had outlined. Rather than simply revert past changes, we think there's an opportunity to lean into his theming to offer gameplay changes that reward trickster mains while also providing something exciting and new for folks who've been on the fence about giving him a try. While we don't have a timeline to share regarding trickster rework right now, we'll be back when the time is right. If I had to guess, I feel like the trickster quote-unquote rework will probably be next year. And the reason why, or either later this year, like towards the end, or next year. And the reason why I say that is because we just got the Freddy rework earlier this year. I think that was January or something like that. And then we're nearing the Skull Merchant rework that they're doing this year for probably the killer that desperately needs a rework the most. Trickster, I mean, he's fine for the most part. There's nothing crazy about him. He's fine for the most part. Not people don't really seem to play him much. I feel like everyone plays like certain killers more. Skull Merchant desperately needs a rework, and as I've mentioned to Orange, it's like she's in a difficult spot, sort of like Freddy, where the power is so whatever, that you can only do so much with like that concept. Although with Freddy, you know, his rework, he came out so much better, which I appreciate because I am a Freddy main. But with Skull Merchant, the drones are very like kind of whatever right now. And if you do, and the original idea with her was her being the free jetting queen, and that was absolutely fucking horrendous. But now, you can't do that anymore, and she's definitely better at other areas and whatnot. She's People consider her overall worse. So Trickster, I feel like, is not in a position that badly to warrant like immediate action on a rework. I am intrigued by what they'll do because I would imagine he'll still like have the knives and stuff, but I'm assuming they'll. If I had to guess, I'd say they're probably changing main event. If I had to guess. If I had to guess, I would say one of the main things they'll probably be doing with Trickster, besides maybe some like speed numbers and like throwing numbers and stuff, I would imagine main event is probably going to get completely changed, because while it's a really nice power, it's sort of OP depending on like they can't really buff that because like by giving you less knife hits to reach it, because then it just breaks the game like they originally tried to do with in his last rework. So I'm excited. What's next? In the coming days, we'll be back with a fresh design preview that we think you're going to dig, and it will give you a first look at our vision for the future of the Skull Merchant, or Boar Merchant, as some people call her, or Shit Merchant, because she's fucking dog shit right now. We can't wait to hear what you think. Keep an eye on this space in our social channels for all the details. Until then, see you in the 5/18. So, they had pretty much jack shit to say about Trickster, which is kind of annoying. It's kind of like, why even make the post if you have jack fucking shit you want to tell us about? I understand, like, wanting to talk about it, like, hey, we want to change how these work. We want to change the layout of these. And I feel like that's an understandable thing to post and talk about. They're so but apparently we're so early with Trickster that they told us jack fucking shit. And I don't like it that they did that, because there's basically nothing to hear. You know what I mean? I vaguely looked at the Skull Merchant one. Didn't read anything or anything. It's just my computer decided to open up a little scroll. Like when I was trying to get this set up, I think I accidentally hit my mouse or something. So then I started looking at a little bit of the Skull Merchant one, and it looked to me like there was a lot more info there. They had a lot more to share about her. So tomorrow's video should actually be a bit more interesting than this one, because I'll actually have more stuff to talk about and work with. Whereas this, it's just based on, because of your guys' feedback, we have to go in a different direction to what we thought, because we're not going to revert changes to the current one. That doesn't tell me anything, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really say anything other than they're going to rework him again, because the community is saying, hey, we need to go in a different direction here with this killer than what Dead by Daylight was thinking we were going to. That's all that really says. But my best guess and my best speculation is that this will be about main event, because main event is it's sort of like Freddy before the first rework, and definitely in some ways was the second rework of Freddy. God, he was so bad until literally this year, and I cannot be happier that he's actually good again. But like, that power, right, main event's in a tricky spot, because you can only do, like, because yes, like, it's really cool that you get like to throw like machine gun out knives, and I think you might even have like infinite knives to throw during the duration, and a number of other things, but you don't get to like, but if you buff it too much in certain ways, then it becomes broken, right, and it absolutely destroys the game and makes it unfun. So that's why my best guess is that main event is what they're reworking. I think normal Trickster, if you minus main event, is fine, but I definitely see maybe main event being what they want to touch, and that's fine. But before I ramble on too long about how little info I was given on Trickster's apparently upcoming rework in this, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, ring the bell. Do all the algorithmic garbage, it helps us out a lot, and it means a lot to us. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.